Thanks for watching Beyond the Brick. Show off your LEGO fandom with our brand new merch line. Link in the description. Now enjoy the video.
My name is Ryan Keeth, and this is the skirmish at Two Medicine River. So this is depicting a skirmish that occurred during the Lewis and Clark expedition. So 4 members of the Corps of Discovery had broken off to do some exploring on their own. So that includes Meriwether Lewis here, and then there were 2 brothers, Joseph and Reuben Field, and there was also a Shawnee Canadian translator in their party named George Drouillard. And so basically what happened is they encountered a group of 8 Blackfeet Native Americans overlooking a bluff, and they shared a camp with them that night. And they got to talking, and one of the topics that was brought up was a plan to sort of unify and create peace between some of the other tribes in the area. But really what that meant was giving them guns, and the Blackfeet were the only tribe that had weapons at that time. So obviously that was a threat to their power in the area. So when they awoke the next morning, the Blackfeet men were trying to steal their guns and horses. So this was the only incident of conflict during the expedition, and it was also the first point of conflict between the representatives of the U.S. government and Native Americans. So I thought that this was a really interesting point in history to capture. And I also knew that I wanted to do something out west. So this takes place in Montana, and that's somewhere that I've visited before, and I really like the style of landscape that's out there. It was something new for me. So
I love this story that you've chosen to depict, because I think it's not very well known. So that's really great that you're able to bring this out in LEGO. And then take us through some of the brick-built details here, because everything from the trees to the horses, it's just amazing.
So my friend Max Sweeney here, he designed the horses. I took his design and I modified the neck area a little bit. And then there's also a saddled version and there's an unsaddled version. So the saddled ones are representing the Lewis's horses. And actually in the chaos of the aftermath, the Native Americans left some of their horses behind. So Lewis and his men were left with some extra horses. They ended up fleeing the area and boating like 100 miles down the river to meet up with the rest of their party, because they feared that more Blackfeet would be back with reinforcements. But yeah, so the horses were definitely a fun detail. I had some fun adding some colors in there. I learned that there were certain colorings of horses that were preferred, that were bred by Native Americans. So getting some of those were fun to do. There's also the detail of, so for example, the figures. This is exactly the number of people that were present at the incident. So there's 4 Americans and 8 Native Americans. My friend Eric Platt, who's been featured before, he has this ship to the right of us. He also designed this. They're called like pirogues. They're little canoes, but they also had sailing capabilities. So this was one of the smaller boats that may have been taken out around that time. The trees were built here. Those were a joint effort between myself, Eric, and my friend Patrick Taylor. So those got put up late last night. We had a little incident knocking them down once we thought we were in the clear. But so another fun detail is, like, for example, there's a broken branch here, and that's poking into the water there. There's also a little campfire there from the night before. And then Eric also designed these little lean-to designs using some capes and some rubber bands and stuff. So
yeah, and also the colors you guys chose is really nice. How did you decide on kind of this combination of colors for the ground?
So I'd been wanting to try out. We had used this water technique on our Long Island build a few years back, using trans black tiles. And this is sort of a popular design now, I think, with the Ninjago City and stuff like that. I wanted to add another element to it, so that the stuff underneath the water actually goes down 2 plates. There's some of this is trans clear over different colors, so that sort of like helps blend a little bit. So I started there and worked my way over. I did the whole base plate here, and then I knew that they were going to be camping out in a Blackwood Grove. That was a common theme for them. So I wanted to design the Blackwood Grove, and then I also wanted to show some of the more expansive plains. There were actually, in the setting, there were bluffs up in the distance, but I thought that for the little chunk that I was showing, it wouldn't have made sense for that severe elevation gain to show that. And this was also, I built this in about 3 weeks. I was a little late getting going. So I wanted to keep things relatively flat for the section that I was showing. But the colors were really fun to work with. The new olive grass and stuff is allowing us to, I think, expand the type of settings that we can portray. So that's exciting.
For sure. Well, it's turned out fantastic, and I really appreciate you guys all pitching in and bringing it to BrickFair here. So thanks so much for chatting with me.
Yeah. Thanks for interviewing. It's always a pleasure.